The Yukon River. In the gold rush to the Klondike, thousands used the Yukon like a highway leading into the far reaches of northwest Canada and Alaska. There are easier means of travel now, but the challenge and the romance of exploring the Yukon in the old way still beckons. There's the challenge of the Chilkoot Pass near the Yukon's headwaters. The challenge of starting from scratch to build a raft for river travel.
Go left! Go left!
There's the constant threat of snags which can claim a man or destroy a raft. Not to mention the pleasant threat posed by the attractions of the town of Dawson.
Fine women! Champagne!
I dream of a tube, now don't you agree?
Or the seductive enticement of old-timey entertainment. There's both challenge and romance in dog team travel, but in the North's bitter cold, any small mistake can lead to disaster. 4 young men answer the call to adventure, 1,800 miles in 8 months. Keith Trick, surveyor. Bob Clark, photographer.
A little bit deep, right?
Paul Cruz, professional skier. Jerry Wallace, logger. This is the story of a present-day trek inspired by the hardship and romance of another generation's Yukon Passage. For many of the old-timers, the trail to El Dorado began on an arm of the Pacific Ocean at Dyea, Alaska. Then there were thousands. Now there are 4.
We're here, guys.
What are we doing? On these logger kind of things? Yeah.
Don't pull that. There we go. All right.
All 4 of the partners have been attracted by the lure of the wilderness and the frontier life of Alaska. They all attended college, and although they're all pushing 30, the need to be free, to take off, and to see the world has kept them from settling down. Bob Clark, Paul Cruz, Keith Trick, Jerry Wallace.
Blockman isn't doing Just because we're out here in the woods doesn't mean that you have to neglect your dental hygiene.
Bob Clark, Mr. Clean, even on the trail.
I make sure that I keep them. Of course, I don't have any toothpaste. I've got my dental floss. Always carry my dental floss.
It's an ordinary 2 days hike from the Pacific Ocean to the tree line. The 3rd day is a tough one. Rugged miles up boulder slopes and snow fields, till finally the last, even steeper ascent to the 3,700-foot Chilkoot Pass.
I'm afraid to look up.
Don't. Don't look down.
In the winter of 1897-98, thousands of men ascended this pass. Most had to make the trip many times. Canadian Mounties, posted at the top, would not let a man proceed until he had packed up 1,000 pounds of provisions. The Stampeders were using an old Indian trading trail, which provided the shortest overland access from the Pacific to the interior. Beyond the pass lay 100 miles of connecting lakes. 600 miles from the pass lay Klondike Gold, where Dawson City sprang to life. The raft crew planned to continue beyond Dawson to the Arctic Circle, where men and rafts are easily lost in a wild profusion of channels. Fall will bring crushing ice, so the crew will stop and build a log cabin. After freeze up, they will continue by dog sled to Marshall, an Eskimo village not far from the mouth of the river. The Chilkoot Pass is only the beginning.
It's all downhill. If you guys want to go on ahead, go right ahead on her. I figure I'll probably catch you down there about the lake.
Beyond the summit, the snow is 20 feet deep, even in June. Something Paul can't quite resist.
Hey, how come we didn't bring any skis? That's what Bob was just asking. Stupid, I guess. Go over the hill, Paul.
Ian Bennett, lucky shit.
Still, cross-country skis and a heavy pack are not something Paul usually has to contend with.
All right! A little steeper than I bargained for, and I fell away so quick I didn't have time to get on the right ski.
Well, let's go, I guess.
Oh, well, he won't go very good when we get... Yeah, right.
It's a long 4 days on the Stampeders Trail from the Pacific Ocean to Bennett Lake. Here in the spring of 1898, more than 10,000 people were camped, and the timber was cut to build boats and rafts. The remains of old cabins evoke memories of a time of high adventure and folly. Keith Trick's roots carry him back to those times.
Down underground in the iron mines. And finally, my granddad and a couple of his brothers, they heard about this strike up here, and they said, well, sounds like a good place for miners. Never got rich. He had enough money that he didn't believe in welfare and retirement funds and things like that. He figured as long as a guy could work and make a living, well, that's what he ought to do. And he lived on all the money he made right down to the time he died. And when he passed on, he planned it just right. He went out with about $1,000 in his bank account.
It must have been quite a spring. You know, maybe that was the biggest sailboat race in history when all these 10,000 guys come to these shores and they built their scows and they built their rafts. And most of the boats wouldn't float very much, and by the time they loaded their 2,000 pounds apiece in those boats, there was probably only 2 or 3 inches of freeboard, and a lot of guys drowned on the way down to the lakes. But they all sailed towards Dawson to find their El Dorado. But most of them just went belly up, nothing left. Probably died broke. Dreams that were just shattered by cold and starvation, loneliness. There'll never be a rush like that one again, maybe in the whole world. I would have liked to have been there.
In late spring, daylight comes early to Bennett Lake. At 7 a.m., the sun's already over the mountain.
Morning there, buddy.
Morning, Pablo. What's for breakfast?
I don't know. What do you want? Some bacon and hot cakes, maybe?
Yeah, I think I'll put my sunny weather pants on today. How's that, huh?
I'll do the can, Barry.
I don't think I can hike it up, but if I had some tomatoes, send me a garter belt, wouldn't that look all right? Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Especially with these 6-day-old underwear.